next guest, Raquel Hutt, experienced what she described as a severe stabbing pain in her arm back in August. She was immediately rushed to the hospital, as any of us would want, right? Well, the thing is that Raquel is fit, she's 24, and seemingly in the prime of her life. Doctors were initially baffled by what was causing her symptoms, even thinking it was a panic attack, before the shocking diagnosis was discovered. At the age of 24, she'd suffered a heart attack. Her mother hosts a hugely popular podcast. It's called Just Jenny Hutt. Share their journey with the world to remind us that our health is fragile no matter what our age. And we might be down, but we are not out. And it's been viewed millions of times. Take a look.
I was sitting on the toilet and I got the craziest sharp shooting pains down my left arm. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. I was hyperventilating, panicking, screaming, and cold sweating. I was home with my mom and brother. They called an ambulance and the EMT arrived. And in the middle of all of my pain, I was able to explain to him that this was really, really serious. I knew something was severely wrong, and everybody thought that I was having a panic attack. We got to the ER where I was triaged. Once they took my blood, everyone realized the severity of the situation. The whole hospital was swarming me. I had about 11 EKGs, I had 5 ultrasounds, I had an angiogram. This was a full-fledged heart attack. After they got solid confirmation that this was a heart attack, we started to put a plan together in place so that this doesn't happen again and how I can move forward.
Tam fam, she's down, but certainly not out and on the mend. Please welcome Jenny Hutt and her beautiful daughter, Raquel, to our stage. Thank you so much for joining us. Jenny, I've known you for a while now. You have this huge platform with your podcast. This story, though, really took off on social media when Raquel shared it. Millions of people. Let me just, because I have so many questions. First of all, you went to the hospital. They took a blood test, and they thought they were just treating you for this arm pain.
Yes. So they thought that I was just having some muscular pain, just something random in my arm. And once we got the blood test back, they realized that my troponin, which is the enzyme in your heart that leaks out when you have damage, they realized my levels were rising. So then they really kicked into action.
So the blood test revealed that it was a heart attack, not a panic attack. And for you guys, this was only 3 months ago.
Yes.
Just 3 months ago. Jenny.
Yes.
I know you.
Yes.
I don't know how you kept it together.
New fear unlocked.
New fear unlocked.
Yeah.
When you got word that this was a heart attack, how did you process this?
So I didn't get word. What happened was our doctor, Dr. Human Yugupsa, who's going to be with us, I was texting him when we got to the hospital, what's going on with Raquel, because it was crazy. She had pain like she'd never felt in her life. And he said, wait for the blood work to come back. And when it came back and I told him the levels and I was sending screenshots, he said, Jenny, you need to listen to me right now. He called me. He said, her troponins are high. I didn't know what that word was.
Nobody would.
Right. So the troponins are, your heart leaks an enzyme called troponin. And that the only time it's elevated is when there's something going on with the heart. So at that moment, he said to me, there's something going on with her heart. Go back in the room, listen to what they say, let them take care of her. There's something going on. And then I flipped out, but had a brave face and went back in to Raquel and said, you're okay, honey. You're okay, honey.
You'd never experienced any trouble. You've
Never.
known her since birth. She's yours.
She's mine.
Doctors have never said
No,
that she was
nothing.
predisposed.
No,
So
nothing.
this literally came out of nowhere.
Correct.
Out of nowhere.
What's so brave is that you then shared the story.
She shared it.
You shared the story.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say a word, but Raquel wanted to share it with everyone.
And I think that's interesting because Raquel wanted to share about this to bring awareness, which I didn't know, the rise in young people and heart attacks. You share it on your Instagram, and then people start to speculate.
Yeah.
And people assume that if a 24-year-old had a heart attack, some of the comments said that it was drugs. Someone wrote 24, you can take it down, 24 heart attack, 9 times out of 10, it's drug related. You had to be, I would be furious.
It was actually absurd because, first of all, when you go to a hospital and you have a heart attack, they run every lab, every panel, every drug test. So if my daughter were doing drugs and I didn't know about it, I would have known then. But that's just not who she is. And she's a lot of things. She's not that.
You took this on head on because you wanted to explain and for folks to understand that it can happen to a healthy child.
Yeah.
And that's what happened here.
Yeah, I think that's what Raquel wanted people to know.
Yeah, I just think it's so important to advocate for yourself. Yeah. When the EMT arrived to my mom's house, they just looked at me and said, "You're having a panic attack. You're 24, nothing's wrong with you, you're just panicking." And of course, I was in so much pain, I couldn't articulate what was really going on. And the EMT made me walk to the ambulance, refused to put sirens on when we got in, and really dismissed how I was feeling. Right when we got to the hospital, of course, there was a big shift and they took amazing care of me. But it's so important to really explain how you're feeling. Trust yourself, trust your body, trust your gut.
You are one strong young lady. Coming up, Raquel's journey to understanding why this happened and why she is advocating for more young people to be your voice. Don't let others speak for you. We have more Not Out by the Least after the break.
I think this story is so crazy, and I think she wants people of every age to know that crazy things can happen and to listen to your body and not listen to anybody who kind of poo-poos what you're feeling.
Welcome back. That was our guest, Jenny Hutt, host of the super popular podcast, Just Jenny, who's along with her daughter, Raquel. Age 25, survived a heart attack. The ordeal left them both with many questions as to why this happened and others wondering if it can happen to them. Joining us is her cardiologist, Dr. Yaqub Zadadeh, who joins us now. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. First off, I have to say, 3 months, she looks fantastic. So if I ever need you, I hope I have you on speed dial. National Center for Health Statistics, heart attacks among young people are rare, but they have risen in the past 4 years. Why?
I think there are several reasons. The first one is that we're much better at finding them. And the troponin level that they were talking about, the blood test, is one of the reasons why. It's very, very sensitive. It's easy to do. So before that came out, many of these kinds of syndromes we would have missed, and patients do okay after episodes like this, and we would never know. But there are other reasons. There's higher rates of childhood obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol levels, our diet, lack of exercise, all of those things go into it.
Contribute to those numbers. You still don't know exactly what caused her heart attack. There are two theories, one called SCAD. What does that mean?
It's a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, and it's where in an artery of the heart, the inner lining can separate and blood flow can go and push the inner lining into the actual lumen of the artery, preventing blood flow from going to the heart. The heart doesn't get oxygen, and there's a heart attack.
How susceptible are we all to this?
This is very, very rare.
Very rare.
Yes, these are one of those things that sometimes are there, but we often don't know, but very rare.
PFO, which means a hole in the heart.
Yes.
That's another theory behind what happened to her.
Yeah, a patent foramen ovale, which is a hole that all of us have when we're inside the mother's womb, but usually it closes. But in some folks, about 20% of people, it can stay open. And we actually have Raquel's echocardiogram here, and the hole would be in this area.
Oh, wow.
And when blood comes from the brain and from the legs, usually it just goes to the right heart pumps it into the lungs, it mixes with oxygen, lets go carbon dioxide, comes back into the left heart, but when there's and then the left heart pumps it out in the body. But when there's a hole, that blood can go straight through, and if there's a tiny little clot, the lungs don't filter it out, and it can
Well,
result
you brought
in
great
something
awareness.
Like
I know that you slept in the bed with your mom 19 days in a row.
Yep.
I said make it more. You're on the mend. I'm so happy that you're advocating and also teaching young people how to do this through this.
Thank you.
So thank you, Raquel. Jenny, thank you. You're the best. Thank you, doctor. Raquel's health journey. Follow it on TikTok at Raquel Hutt. You can listen to Jenny's podcast, Just Jenny, wherever you stream your podcast.